last time on the Adventures of Gaia. While standing center stage, Aristodemos was shot. All attempts to heal him failed, even using a pod. The nanotech in the wound kept him alive but in pain. Royd was also found incapacitated, infected with the same black ooze. And the stranger he hired, whilst being questioned by the party, was also shot before he could reveal the identity of the assassin. Dos, however, caught sight of a coven member on the rooftops above the circus.
The typically bubbling with activity mess tent is quiet as people eat their breakfast. It was an equally quiet night last night. Even though it's the quietest it's ever been, this morning the mess tent is also the most full of people that any of you newcomers have ever seen. People sit, stirring their food around on the plate. Skittles did make breakfast. It was plain oatmeal. There are actually more performers / circus people than you've ever seen. They're all packed around. People have upturned barrels, sitting around, dragged in stuff, so much so that the edge of the mess tent that normally sits like this is pushed out with people packed in. And the main flap opens, and in walks Lita and Adil. My family, we're in a difficult time. But do not fret. We always find a path through difficult times. This is no different. This is only a sad story if we choose to stop here. And we kind of look at each other. We don't like this ending. So finish your crying and your oatmeal, and then get back to telling your stories. Because tonight the crowd is waiting, and the show must go on. And I do have good news. In a great turn of... They look at each other again. Events, Iana and Polycorpus have returned to us.
Good.
And they will help fill in while Royd is convalescing. Okay, in walk a pair. A very, very tall being. There's a small twinkle of happiness that spreads through the tent as the smaller of the two ducks in. One is a huge 7-foot being. He's covered in white fur, and his giant ears are tied back behind his head. And he has huge muscles where underneath his rippling fur. And he embraces some of the fellow circus people, the family. And beside him is a small framed little female. You all, particularly Krellin, who remembers seeing a lot more, you all immediately recognize resemblances between the two. It's kind of odd how you rarely see people that are the same in Gaia, but when mates find each other, it's always interesting to see how they look alike and how they don't. They seem to have hints of each other. Okay, they walk in. Iana's tiny compared to her larger, which you must assume is a mate, and they start embracing people. The tent is kind of abuzz with the type of happiness you witness at like a tragic event that brings family together. You see Frank get up. Polycorpus! He runs over and gives a bro-type hug to him. Aurora's sitting. The four of you do find yourselves all squished together, as you generally do, because you're the newest of the group. Aurora's looking. Oh, well, they look. Seems to have brought some happiness. They seem to know them.
Yes.
They seem nice.
Well, I, for one, am going to introduce myself, and I stand up.
Okay.
Run over.
Magnus watches Krellin as he leaves.
Krellin gets the stink eye. That's fair.
You get
Okay,
the
you walk
suspicious
over.
eye.
Okay, Krellin, you walk over. Aurora kind of looks. She goes, I think I'm gonna do the same. It's better than just sitting here and feeling bad constantly. Okay, she gets up and follows Krellin.
Oh.
Okay, Krellin, Aurora's trailing behind you. You hear them all hugging, and I saw what you did here. That was great. You gather that this pair was part of the circus, and maybe something changed. That's what you've gathered. They seem to have been away for some time. Okay, you walk up. Who did you want to walk up to specifically, Krellin?
Probably Polycorpus first.
He towers over you. He looks down. He's got his nose twitches, constantly seeming to catch the wind. He smiles. He goes, oh, you must be a new one. He puts his giant arm out to clasp your arm.
Yeah, I clasp with a good bit of force. I am indeed. The name's Krellin. Pleasure to meet you, my good man.
Polycorpus, I'm here to save the day, it seems.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. You're filling in for Royd, correct?
Yeah. Well, yes, of course. We're great illusionists. Have you not heard of us? You can roll memory, Krellin.
Okay.
Because you have some.
I have some memory. Yeah, crit. I got a 3.
I read a lot about snails.
Okay, you do recognize the names. They are a featured act at the Crystal Edge, which is a very fancy hotel further up in Kev that has boasts some acts, much more like the type of hotel you go to see an act and stay for the spa and that kind of a little more shishi. And it is literally on the edge of the pyramid of the land, because Kev, of course, goes up in a pyramid and hangs over the edge, and it's all glass around one side, so you actually look over and can see all of Kev below.
Oh, of course. I've heard of you. Seems you're coming to slum it down with us for a little while.
Well,
In your golden palace.
okay, at that moment, Iana walks up. She puts her arm interlaced in she tries to, it's giant, so she doesn't get very far. She goes, it's always coming home here. She goes, Krellin, did I overhear? She looks you up and down.
Yes, the name is Krellin. And I've only been here a few days. I'm still getting the lay of the land. But it's a pleasure to meet you both. I'm sure you'll be a pleasant change given the circumstances of the last few days.
I'm sure. She smiles. She goes, it's always nice to come home. Come on now, Polycorpus. She seems to pull him away from you.
Everyone is so suspicious.
Aurora standing beside you. Speaking of the most unsuspicious creature, and she goes, oh, well, I guess they're going to help. Seems like they're part of the circus.
Yeah, yes, it does. They're actually rather famous in this area. I'm curious what brought them back down here.
Oh, what do you know? She leans in.
Well, they have an act. Yes, it seems they're doing quite well for themselves. I am very curious what got them to come down here. Like, it doesn't seem you just up and leave a situation like that.
Strange. Magnus and Riva, because you're just sitting back, you can kind of observe.
I
Roll.
wanted to see how the group was compared to how it is now. I wanted to see if there's tension with some people.
Okay.
If there's happiness with others.
Okay, sure. Roll your CE to ascertain the feel of what the people are feeling.
33.
Everyone left in the tent seems quite excited to see them. It's all happiness. A lot of people are still, I shouldn't say that. It's not happiness like they're thrilled, because there's still some issues going on. But overall, you would see no tension, as if they had there was something going on between any individuals there.
Okay.
You did notice that the twins actually didn't stay. They ducked out quite quickly, almost as if they had introduced an act and slid back out quite unnoticed by anyone except for apparently you. The other thing you do notice is that although Polycorpus greeted Krellin quite warmly, Iana was extremely cold, and she has kept an eye on him as he's walked. As soon as he turned his back and walked towards your group again, you notice her watching.
Them showing up's gonna help, I think, right? Nobody seemed to instantly scream out in dismay, so I feel better, even though I don't know them.
I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth.
Aurora's slowly walked back over to Magnus and Riva, just out of habit. She kind of gives a half smile. Well, new people are always exciting.
Depends on the people, I suppose.
Magnus, if I could speak with you privately in a little while, that would be lovely.
With me?
Yes. What, can't two friends have a conversation from time to time?
Yes, of course, but I wasn't aware. Oh, sure, okay, yes, fine.
Both Riva and Aurora kind of look at each other like, oh, is he going to figure out how to do the talking thing with people?
Oh, man.
Well, you could go talk now. Nothing's happening.
That's very true. Are you all finished your breakfast, my good friend?
Well, I suppose I am. I'm very well.
So yeah, as we walk away and make sure we're at earshot of everybody, these newcomers, I'm not terribly sure if we can trust them. The Polycorpus fellow seems quite friendly with people. He might not be terribly dangerous in himself, but the Iana woman, not only was she immediately suspicious of me, which I can understand, but there's something else about her, and I can't quite place it. But I think we should watch our backs. I don't know why they've come down here. They've left a life that was very lavish to come and assist us, and I'm a bit worried.
And you find this odd that they would come to assist us?
Yes, it's the jobs they had. I don't really think it's just something you up and leave. It's not easily done. I think I'd be worried. Or I am worried.
All right, Magnus smiles a wistful smile. Dear Mr. Krellin, I suppose it could be an artifact of your previous life that you would find this odd. Friends do come to help other friends.
Oh yes, I have plenty of friendly connections throughout my travels, and I'm sure that they'd be willing to help if I was ever in trouble. This seems a little bit different, though. Just keep your senses aware. That is all I ask.
I assure you, Mr. Krellin, my senses are quite aware. Around everyone.
That's as good to hear.
All right, Magnus motions him to go back towards the tables, or whichever way is polite for him to go first.
Yeah.
Okay, while they're talking, Riva, you're with Aurora. I wonder what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. That one, the female pair, she doesn't like him. Did you notice that? Did you see that?
I know.
Like, I know he's kind of a. I don't want to say. What's the word when it's hard to swallow something?
Yucky.
Not. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Sort of a vibe. You were up there. What did he say?
Nothing. He just said, "Hi, I'm Krellin." Over masculine shaking of hands. And then Iana came over, and she just took him away. But I don't know. You know, he was at the place. Remember, with the death and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe.
But
I don't know.
He was tied up though, so
Yeah.
unless they know each other, but he wouldn't have introduced himself if they. I don't know. I think she doesn't like him.
Okay. As is always with Riva and Aurora, they just go back to eating to solve problems.
Magnus joins them again. Did Krellin come here as well?
I came too, and as we were walking back, I made it seem if we were talking about snails, and you had just told a funny joke.
They're still talking about snails.
Magnus looks at him, kind of shakes his head, sits back down.
This man has some of the best facts in the world. It's always a pleasure to learn from him.
Yeah. You do have good stuff, Magnus, but snails I wouldn't rate as the top 100 of the things you've talked about.
Well, I'll endeavor to find more interesting reading to share. Listen, someone's going to find out about what's going on around here.
Ooh, it should be us.
Well, I didn't mean to rope anybody into an activity they weren't interested in, but I don't see a lot of action of discovering the mystery of what's happening.
Ooh, we could be detectives.
I suppose I'm not much of a. I don't read a lot of detective. I've never done that before.
You actually don't know that.
Well, I suppose that's right.
We could all be detectives. Maybe we had an office together. Maybe that's how we're together. Okay, where do you want to start?
Well, I don't know.
I could reach out to some of my contacts in the city if they're still about and see if they know anything, provided they don't want to kill me.
Oh.
Does anyone know where I could get my hands on some form of communication device?
If only we had like a two-way communicator thing, like Group A and Group B.
Okay, I have... Okay, Aurora looks sort of sad. She goes, well, I do have that thing with the cameras, remember?
Yes.
I put it in Aristodemos' wagon, remember?
Yes. We can't tell anyone about that.
Oops. Krellin, shh, be quiet.
Wait.
Don't tell anyone.
What?
Your secret is very safe with me, my dear.
Okay, Magnus flashes him a look.
He's in the detective group.
All right, what do we know? What are all the clues we know?
Well, we know they're using very high very technological weaponry to meet their goals, and their goals are not to kill. So, it's probably somebody with a grudge, and not somebody... Oh, it could be somebody looking to take whatever power Aristodemos has. He's got Aristodemos gone and one of his most powerful lieutenants, for lack of a better term, out of the way.
We know that Aristodemos was shot, and Royd was shot, and that creepy hunter guy was shot. They're all in pods, but remember Aristodemos was... and Royd had that black stuff. Rouge said that Harry said or was it the twins said? Harry told Frank. Oh, I overheard that Harry told Frank that Rouge said that while they were in the wagon, that. Okay, she leans in. He was like in eternal pain. That the pod couldn't tell the difference between Aristodemos and the stuff. And that Royd's. Well, you saw his body, Krellin. You're the one who found him, remember?
Yes. And he, for some reason, had just the oddest scars around his neck.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Terribly weird.
Plus
but yes,
one.
Thank you. But it looks like it was definitely a professional hit. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. He was shot not point blank. He was shot right in the center of his skull.
Yeah, remember how weird it was, Magnus? Because we were in the tent, and Dos was in the tent, and we were after that hunter guy. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly, Aristodemos was just shot, like out of nowhere. And we couldn't find the straight through. Dos went up to go up and look around.
I have an idea. Why that's that.
Yeah.
Royd really dislikes Aristodemos. Like, yeah. I went into his like area, raging drunk, and he just talked about how it's horrible and he hates them, and I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea. So he may have been planning something against Aristodemos. I don't know. That's a thought.
I mean, you're given that everyone is here because of their secrets. I doubt Royd would risk his relative safety here for whatever he was hiding from or running from.
But Magnus, remember when we caught the hunter guy and we had him tied up and stuff? And he said that Royd hired him to protect him from the assassin in the group. Who could that be? Oh, shh, quiet. We're supposed to be sneaky.
Maybe we should take this conversation into somewhere a little bit less public.
Well, perhaps we should continue sitting here in public and have it here.
It is less conspicuous if done that way, but our chances of being overheard are raised significantly.
Aurora, she finally stands up. She goes, what if we just went and checked on Aristodemos?
That's a good idea. We need to find out more about these wounds that are afflicting them, if there's any way we can fix them.
Okay. She gets up and starts walking.
Magnus joins her.
She turns. Come on, guys.
Okay.
Very well.
Skittles actually comes up to you, Riva, as you stand up. He says, we're not going to be making any food today, just so you know, so...
What? Why?
Well, it's oatmeal. Oatmeal's the food of sadness.
Okay.
Sure.
And they're going to play country. They're eating oatmeal and they're playing country.
Nothing but country.
Because country is the music of sadness.
Okay, you're walking towards Aristodemos' wagon. Okay, Aurora's standing in front of the door. Should we just not... Oh, she starts listening. You can hear some voices. What's everybody's hearing? Who has good hearing?
I do.
I have 95. What am I doing? Critical failure. So.
Now, did you want to re-roll with your lucky SOB?
Oh, yeah, I have lucky SOB, so when I super hard fail, I can try it again. You know what? Yeah, let's...
Okay.
As per the rules of lucky SOB, we all have to watch you roll. We can't watch you roll, but we all have to pay attention to your roll, and if you succeed, we clap, and if you fail, we boo.
Oh, I don't like the booing. All right, let's do this.
Them's the rules.
Melissa tried to veto that, let me tell you. Okay.
I know. It's I needed a 95. The first roll was a critical failure at 98, and the next roll is a 35. I don't know if you can see it or not. So I demand my clapping.
You are the champion, my friend.
Everyone else, you all made your hearing?
Yeah.
And can I tell by the pheromones and the molecules coming out of the, in and out of the wagon who is in there talking?
Sure, please roll.
I rolled 7, and that is a critical.
Okay. Yes, you come up, you see Aurora is listening, and she was just about to say, there's 3, 4? Oh, that's probably the twins. She looks at you because she's accustomed, Magnus, to you being able to feel who's out. You don't even have to like actively sense, you just kind of put your hands out to the side. You can feel that, yes, it's twins. You feel Harry. You're familiar with his sense. And another being you don't recognize has the strangest mix of sensations, since it would be color if you could see. There's a weird mix of an energy almost you can't recognize, and you feel cherry blossoms, some odd sugariness, a really odd, you would almost say you feel all different feelings from around Gaia in one single being, if that's possible.
Gender?
Female. So the twins, Harry, and some other female.
Clean or unclean? Washed or unwashed?
Oh, quite not. Yeah, I was like, are you taking up the prior class?
Is that witch? No. Magnus Witchborn is the witch. That's who's the witch.
Definitely quite clean, for lack of a better descriptor.
Well kept.
Yeah.
I guess I could have. Okay.
Yeah.
And but lots of travel around Gaia. Interesting. And items of power. Can I feel the energy coming off them?
Yes. In fact, there's quite a glow, quite an eminence of power coming off. From out of the Aristodemos' wagon, however, which also has a good eminence of magic and power coming off it. They're almost intermingled in some way. You couldn't actually pinpoint standing so close to his wagon. Aurora goes, shh, they're talking. Okay, you hear 3 voices. We feel it's a mistake taking him out of Kev. It will show weakness and an opening for the Black Fox to make their move. Okay, you hear Harry's voice? I understand, but living pine is much stronger. We could just transport Aristodemos. Okay, you hear a voice you don't recognize. All right, enough talk. We simply take Aristodemos to Chi-Chi when everything is ready. Polycarpus and Iana can take care of any illusions to hide while he's gone. Now listen, we have to get going. Now get at least some of them out to collect the items. You hear a kind of a grumbly noise of Harry dissenting. Look, attention focused on too many targets gives us a bit of cover. Okay, you all hear movement towards the door.
They're coming.
Okay. Aurora backs up. Snails. Yeah, Those are interesting snails.
Act natural. I lay on the ground.
Okay. Oh, your push-ups are getting way better.
I flip from my back to my front and start doing push-ups.
I'm going to give my +1 over to you as well. That's great. Krellin stands with his hands behind his back, waiting patiently at the door. Big old grin on his face.
Okay, out of all of you, Riva and Aurora kind of probably stand out the most. Krellin looks natural. It looks like he actually just kind of walked around the corner out of nowhere, even though he was standing with you as the doors open. And you see the twins come out. You see Harry, who you know quite well. And you see a cloaked female. She has a red hood on. She's wearing a kind of corset over this red hood. There's another cloak over. She has a veil up over her face. She's quite sparkly magenta eyes. She looks down at Riva and Aurora going, that's 200? Good. Okay, that's probably good for today. Oh!
Yeah.
She smiles.
I lay down because I am not strong.
5 push-ups was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You should put my +1 on your physical mass.
The twins look over. They both cock their heads at the same time and kind of smile. Oh,
Is there any news about Aristodemos?
We were looking for you.
Oh, what a coincidence. We were looking for you as well. As my good friend Magnus has asked, how is Aristodemos doing?
Well, They both look kind of at Harry. Harry goes over. No change. Which is good news when you think of how bad it could be.
It's very true. And who is your lovely friend here?
Okay, the woman is kind of stood back. She's got her hands kind of crossed. She's looking at Magnus actually quite intently. She puts her hand in her pocket. She pulls something out. Magnus, if I'm not mistaken.
Magnus smiles.
She has 3 shell casings in her hand. If I'm not mistaken, you have some skill with identifying substances? She puts them out and starts to open her hand to drop them.
Okay, Magnus puts his hands out.
Okay. You see these 3 shell casings. They
I failed my coordination check. They fall through his hands. He goes, I'm sorry. He bends down. He picks up. It drops again. I'm sorry. 1 second. I'll wipe it off. He
for goodness sakes, Magnus. Don't lick.
Wipes off the mud. Goes, I'm sorry, madam.
Okay. You can't see her face, of course. It's veiled.
You know me? How do you know me?
She just looks. The twins say, "You're part of the circus."
Oh yes. Well, I suppose I am. Oh yes, the shell casings.
Everyone's standing, staring at you, Magnus.
I will. For a man who has 130 CE, he's awfully fuddy-duddy. He's got a whirl of emotions inside him. That's the problem.
Just because you understand people doesn't mean you necessarily act a certain way.
Yes, indeed. Okay, I rolled 56, and my touch sense is 234. With me actually being in physical contact with it, I don't know what the plus is there. He rolls it around in his hands, and he feels for particulates.
Do you have alchemy?
As a matter of fact, I do. He has alchemy herbalism, yeah.
Let's roll that as well.
It's 138.
Okie dokie.
And I roll 13, critical success.
Nice. Okay. You start to feel over them. It's a bit of, you almost feel like you're at the center of the big top with all these people surrounding you, kind of looking over at you. Aurora's uncomfortably, probably still comfortable, but quite close looking. Okay.
Magnus looks at her and kind of smiles.
She's just looking at your hands.
He feels her scent cross his skin.
Okay. You feel them. Close your eyes. You feel quite the lingering. It's dissipating now, but the dissipating molecules of strong dark magic. You also feel the molecular bonds of nanotech, the residue of it, the actual liquid that often is a carrier for it. And you feel some strong poison as well.
Pah! He throws him on the ground. Foul sorcery.
Wait, on me? I'm on the ground. They don't
Not
land.
on you. Away from Riva. He doesn't.
Okay.
Foul sorcery. Blah!
Okay.
He'll pelt Riva with these shell casings. So he goes, He wipes his hands off. Says, there's foul black magic, poison, and nanotech. It is a powerful poison, a powerful weapon.
The elders, not olders, but the elders, as far as the circus are, and this woman kind of exchange some looks. As we suspected.
GM, does Magnus find this type of magic or poison in any way familiar?
What's your memory?
130.
You definitely recognize the power. You definitely feel a familiar signature to it, but there is no memory that actually comes back with it.
Okay.
Roll here.
188, 83, critical.
You do realize that the stranger, we'll call her, has kept her eyes on you quite closely.
Okay, Magnus kind of looks up and looks away and then frames her, kind of looks at her, kind of frames her with a look like to say what?
She nods her head, she says, and puts her hands out. It is as we expected. We're going to need some supplies. She turns to the
If
twins.
there's anything we can do to help Aristodemos, I'm sure all of us would happily volunteer.
Okay, you see her, the stranger's cheeks kind of raise and a sparkle shows up again. The veil covers her face. You would think she's smiling, probably under that covering. If you're all willing to help, we'll have to send you on your way. Perhaps you can collect the supplies we need to fix Aristodemos. Aurora stands there. Of course we'll help. Of course we'll help Aristodemos. Casey, another smile kind of, or another, that same expression flash over the stranger. She goes, she kind of ignores you guys for a second. She turns to Harry and the twins. I'll prepare then, and let me know. Okay. She bows to you guys slightly.
My dear, I don't believe we got your name. It's terribly rude not to introduce oneself.
You all three can roll MR.
My mental resistance is 242. It's my highest stat, and I rolled 53. That is a critical.
Okay.
Mine's 92, and I rolled 75.
Nice.
31, just a regular success, I do believe.
Okay. Okay. You all feel a wash of a certain calmness come over you, as if everything's going to be okay. And you have there's a strange scent of what sort of a cherry blossom spiced smell. She looks at you, Krellin, and she goes, "You're right, I didn't. Good luck." She turns. She walks kind of around the corner of Aristodemos's wagon. The twins look, they say, "It's a good thing Dos found those." She points, Lita points down to the shell casings that are still on the ground.
They're still poisoned. Be careful. Although it's a tiny residue, it might hurt somebody.
Then why'd you just toss them on the ground?
Because I didn't want them in my hand anymore, Mr. Krellin.
Yeah.
You'll forgive me. My sense of touch is quite acute.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay. Aurora, for the first time, gives you kind of a look. Krellin, please roll your other sense.
I rolled 45. That's a regular success for my other sense.
As Aurora and Krellin kind of exchange not so much unfriendly looks, but Aurora's protectiveness, let's say, of Magnus. Magnus, you feel a really strange dimensional pull just behind the wagon as the stranger went back.
Okay.
It's gone.
Magnus of course, reads a lot and knows a lot, or is trying to regain his memories and knows different things, and he knows magic when he senses it.
And then Aurora
of course, just
would
like
notice the life sign.
True.
Magnus, you feel that dimensional, and it's a strange one. It's not something you recognize, other than the fact that you know it's a portal or a folding space of some sort that went somewhere. You feel the gravity pull, Riva, a slight, like just a shifting, which you recognize again, much like Magnus, as some sort of teleport. And Aurora just kind of shifts her eyes and looks over to where the stranger left. However, you don't have time to discuss it. As the twins pull out a pad and hand it out, they're having a discussion amongst themselves, as they often do. As you are noticing this, you come back to what's going on, and the twins say, Agrippa, I think, would be the best choice. But they'll need to talk to Otakar Ignacy, I think. They hand this to you. Krellin, roll memory.
Oh, there we go. Success. 43 out of 60.
You do not recognize the name Agrippa in any way, but you do recognize Otakar. He is well-known in Kev as a fast-talking information dealer, underhanded dealer, get anything you need kind of guy. He's definitely
my best friend.
He has been at times. He's also been your worst enemy at times, depending on who's paid him for what.
Yep.
You know where he is. You know that he is in Kev, and he's out sort of in the close to the Cyberhook, down near the Simreals, in that area back there. Definitely not a classy area. It's the first level of Kev. However, the circus is also on the first level.
Oh, Otakar. I know him.
Okay, Harry looks.
He's a good friend of mine. I'm sure he can give us a hand with whatever we need.
Harry looks at the twins. He goes, well, I'll be getting back to, if we're going to have a show anyway. Okay, he looks at your party. Good luck. He ducks off.
Colin tips his head. No hat, but just a little nod.
You can rest assured, we will find the items.
Of that, we have no doubt. You'll head to Otakar. We appreciate your willingness to help, Krellin. I know Aristodemos spoke of needing your, they both say at the same time, special talents.
I am uncomfortable by that. Just the simultaneous talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, just very clearly Krellin's taken by just the moment of surprise before he regains composure.
The idea of two beings sharing every thought and speaking like that. In fact, there's often, Krellin, when you've watched them, because you do watch people, that when they've sat together, you swear suddenly there's only 3 legs where there should be 4, because they always intertwine. It's odd. They are circus performers, however. The twins continue. We're going to need your help today to identify when to negotiate any rocky areas our team encounters.
Well, negotiating is my specialty.
They both nod at the same time.
I wink.
I rely on your ability to know when to talk, and they both cock their heads again, when to fight.
Oh, there's always time for talking.
They point to the pad. Who took the pad? Anybody?
I can grab it.
Yeah. They point to the pad in your hands, Krellin. After you meet with Otakar, take yourselves to... They both look at you quite squarely. Athara Prime. Krellin, that sends a bit of shiver down your spine.
All right.
You know Athara Prime as one of the strongholds of the Syndicate.
Now,
You're with the Black Cabal, my darling.
okay.
And the Black Cabal is quite powerful. However, nowhere near as powerful as the Syndicate. They are within your crime circles and your crime knowledge. It's claimed that even the Praetor won't cross the Syndicate. They are based on cells. You do know that. And each cell or house operates different things. Athara Prime has been spoken of in amongst your group, in amongst the Black Cabal, as somewhat, what would be the right, roguish in amongst the group. And you are familiar that it's led by quite a powerful female of some sort. They definitely, of the Syndicate, are information gatherers, and you have never set foot in Athara Prime because of that reputation it has.
Well, I
The
thought
twins
Prime
look at
might
you.
be a bit of a task, but I'm sure we can handle it.
Of course. Now, we must get ready for the show. Good luck. We'll keep our eye on you.